All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're talking about something that really separates the pros from the amateurs in project management. Think of this as getting a new pair of glasses, ones that let you see the invisible stuff that can totally wreck or save your project. Okay, so let's kick things off with a puzzle. Picture this. Two projects. They're identical, and I mean identical. Same budget, same schedule, same team. Everything. But one ends with a huge celebration, and the other, well, it ends up in court. How on earth does that happen? The easy answer? Oh, it was just bad luck. But that's not it, not at all. The real answer is about seeing something most people miss entirely. It's like this invisible thread that runs through everything, every single task, every decision. And that thread? That's uncertainty. Learning how to see it, how to map it out, that's where you find real control. So to really wrap our heads around this, we got to get our terms right. You know, a lot of people throw around the words uncertainty and risk like they're the same thing. But trust me, when the stakes are high, they are absolutely not the same. So you've got two ways of looking at this. First, there's qualitative analysis. Think of this as the gut check. It's subjective. You're ranking risks as high, medium, low, based on feeling. It's about perception. But then you have quantitative analysis. This is the project's calculator. It's not about what you feel might happen. It's about using hard numbers and real data to figure out the total impact of all these fuzzy uncertainties put together. And yeah, that's what we're digging into today. So what is uncertainty, really? Well, a risk is something you can point to. You can say, hey, our supplier might be late. That's a risk. But uncertainty is the fog that surrounds everything. It's this general lack of knowing. It's where you don't even know what questions to ask yet. It's the home of those infamous unknown unknowns. And here's why this matters so much. There's this great metaphor, the watermelon project. If you don't get a handle on uncertainty, your project can look like a watermelon. On the outside, to all your stakeholders, everything's green. Status reports look great, but on the inside, it's a total mess. Deep, chaotic red. And the scary part is, you often don't find out until you cut it open. And by then, it's way too late. But when you actually face this stuff head on, everything changes. You stop making decisions based on your gut and start using real data. You put your resources where they'll actually make a difference. You can set expectations that are actually achievable. And you build in safety nets, buffers that are backed by math, not just a vague sense of panic. Okay, that all sounds great, right? But how do you do it? How do you actually see this invisible force? Well, it's time to open up the toolkit. Let's walk through 5 really powerful techniques that the pros use to shine a light through that fog. First up, we've got probability distributions. Look, anyone who says a task will take exactly 30 days is basically just guessing. That single number is almost always wrong. So instead, you model a range of possibilities. You might say, okay, it'll probably take 30 days, but the best case is 20 and the worst case is 60. Just doing that one simple shift, takes you out of the guessing game and into the world of probability. And that leads us right into technique number 2, confidence intervals. Once you have that range, you can make commitments that actually mean something. You can go to your boss or your client and say, we are 85% confident that we'll finish this in 18 months, give or take 2 weeks. See, you're defining that perfect spot, that sweet spot between just hoping for the best and knowing what's actually realistic. All right, number 3 is all about knowing where to focus your energy. It's called sensitivity analysis, and what it does is find the big hitters, the few variables that can cause the most damage or create the most opportunity. You'll often see this shown in something called a tornado diagram. It just instantly shows you these are the things you need to worry about. It's how you stop wasting time on the small stuff. Okay, so the future isn't just one straight road, right? It's more like a tree with all these different branches. That's where scenario analysis comes in. It helps you prepare for those different paths. A great project manager doesn't just plan for the sunny business-as-usual day. They've also got a plan in their back pocket for the major shipping port strike day or the sudden fuel price spike day. You're building playbooks for different futures. And our 5th and final tool is probably one you've seen before, the risk heat map. This thing is an absolute game changer for communication. It's just a simple grid, right? On one side, you have the probability of something happening, and on the other, you have how bad it would be if it did. And with that simple red, yellow, green color coding, you can walk into any meeting and show anyone, from the CEO to an intern, exactly where the dragons are hiding. It's incredibly powerful. Okay, so now we have this amazing toolkit, but just having the tools isn't enough. How you use them really depends on the philosophy behind your project. And that brings us to the two big players in the game, the classic predictive style of waterfall and the more modern adaptive approach of agile. And these two philosophies could not be more different in how they see the unknown. Waterfall looks at uncertainty and sees an enemy. It's a threat that has to be controlled and contained. So you do all this planning up front, lock in the plan, and then build these big walls, these buffers to protect it from reality. Agile? It looks at uncertainty and sees an opportunity. It's a chance to learn and discover. It doesn't fight change, it embraces it, using really short feedback loops to adapt on the fly. So, this brings us full circle, back to that original mystery. How do you make sure your project is the one with the champagne, not the one with the lawyers? Let's pull all these threads together and find the real answer. So here's the secret. The true masters, they don't just pick one tool from the toolbox. They use a combination to get the whole picture. They make sure everyone on the team is speaking the same language when it comes to risk. They bring in different people to get different perspectives and avoid blind spots. They use those visuals we talked about to make complex ideas simple. And maybe the most important thing of all, they don't do this once and then forget about it. This analysis is a living, breathing thing that they update constantly as the project changes. And that leaves us with one last really crucial takeaway. Your job isn't to create a perfect plan that has zero uncertainty. Come on, that's impossible. Your real value, the thing that makes you a master, is creating a plan that is so smart, so self-aware, that it knows exactly how much chaos it can handle before it snaps. That is the real art of seeing the invisible.